Right, when you book the ball machine, you're going to arrive on court number 5 and you're going to walk over to the new ball machine housing unit here. Once you've booked, you're then going to receive a code for the padlock. Once you've put your code in, which will be different every time you book it, you're then going to open the unit up. If you come inside, you will see the lovely new ball machine and the balls. When you come to your booking, there will also be a basket of mini tennis balls. So you're going to grab the machine and you're going to pick which basket of balls you want to use. Now, the best way of getting the ball machine out, we'll get the balls out first. So we take the basket. Best way of getting it out is we need to unplug it first. So we're going to take the plug out of the machine, but keep it plugged into the mains. And then we're going to carefully maneuver the ball machine using the handles. Now we need to flip it up slightly and always push it so it's only on its back wheels, like this. Make sure you're being really slow with the ball machine when you're moving it around, because we don't want it to break. And then, when you've got your ball machine and your basket of balls, you're then going to pick a baseline to use. So I'm going to go to the closest baseline. Okay, first job, we need to take the grey top off the ball machine. We're going to flip it around and then we're going to come and put it on the top. So to secure it properly on the top, we need to get a bit closer and have a look how we're going to do that. So there are 2 holes and 2 up red things. We need to make sure that they've been clicked into place to keep this secure. Once this is secure, you're then going to take the basket of balls that you've chosen from the housing unit and you're carefully going to pull them into the machine. Once they're in the machine, you then need to position the machine in the correct place. Now at the bottom of the machine, there's a baseline marker, the white tab. You need to make sure that the machine is positioned in the middle of the baseline and the baseline marker is on the baseline. Again, when you're maneuvering the machine, make sure you're being as careful as possible, as we don't want it to damage. Okay, so when you've set the ball machine up on the baseline, you've now got to turn the machine on. So that's the first switch. So the switch on the left where it says power, that's on and off. Obviously it needs to be on. Then you've got elevation. So if you click the button up on the elevation, that means the ball is going to come out higher. If you go down, that means it's going to come down a bit lower. When you're trialing it out for the first time, you might need to use a bit of trial and error to try and find out how high you want the ball to come out. The height will change depending on if you're using spin and things like that, which we'll come on to in a minute though. The vertical switch, so that's on or off. That means moving forwards in a vertical line. So if you want the ball to go a bit shorter or a bit deeper. Horizontal, that means if you want the ball to be moved right and left, so if you've got that on, it'll move right and left. If you've not got it on, then it will just stay firing the ball in a straight line. The feed setting, so if you turn it to the left, the ball will come out at a slower frequency. If you turn it to the fast setting, it means the ball will come out at a higher rate. So the fastest, I think, is 2 seconds in between each feed, and the slowest is 12 seconds in between each feed. The next one we've got is the speed. So this is literally how fast the ball will come out. So if you turn it to the right, the ball will come out faster. If you turn it to the left, the ball will come out slower. And then spin. So if you have the dial pointing up to the top, the ball will come out completely flat. There will be no spin on it. So this might be the one that you want to use most often. If you turn the dial to the right towards top spin, then that will be providing top spin on the feed. So the ball will bounce and then it will kick up. If you have the dial turned to the left, then the ball will skid on the floor and stay a bit lower when the ball comes out. Depending on what type of spin you have on the feed, you will need to change the elevation. So if you have top spin on the feed, you will have to change the elevation so it's higher. If you have backspin on the feed, you will have to change the elevation so it's lower. But as I said before, it's just best to go for a bit of trial and error on this one. Use your first booking to try and work out which settings work best for you.
So when you are finished, we need to empty all of the balls back into the basket. Really important that you keep track of all of the balls for the ball machine and we don't mix anyone else's balls up. So we put the ball machine balls back in the basket. Then we need to get a bit closer to watch this one. So we're going to unclip the grey lid and then we're going to turn it over and position it back on top like so. And then quite simply, we're going to wheel it over to the housing unit. And we're going to carefully wheel it back in, making sure it's completely covered. We're going to put it back on charge. And we're going to make sure that the balls get placed in neatly as well. When you put it back in, really important that it's on charge. So if you just check the light is on the plug and the wire is connected to the ball machine. Otherwise, when you come to use it next time or the next booking comes to use it, there isn't any battery. Once everything's safely in, we're going to shut the doors, making sure that that bit goes down at the bottom. Top bit goes on, and then you can use the padlock, so it needs to be on the code that you received. We put the padlock on and then we close it and then jumble the numbers up again, and that's it. A lovely day today, perfect weather for ball machine use. Unfortunately, if the weather isn't like this, so if it's raining, use of the ball machine is completely out of bounds, I'm afraid. If it's quite wet on the floor as well, use of the ball machine completely out of bounds. If you've paid for a booking and the weather isn't great or there's moisture on the floor, then please contact us and we will then provide you with a free booking on a different day as an alternative. But we're not using the ball machine unless the weather is nice because it's going to break.